Have you ever tried to fix a problem from your desk, looking at a spreadsheet or an email chain, only to find out later you were completely missing the point? Well, today, we're diving into a powerful Japanese principle that basically forces you to get out of your chair and see the truth for yourself. It sounds so simple, but I promise you, it can absolutely transform how you solve problems. Let's get right into it. All right, so here's how we're going to break this down. First, we'll talk about that common trap, trying to solve problems from way too far away. Then, we'll introduce the simple but powerful principle that is the perfect antidote. After that, we'll dig into some real-world stories, give you a practical toolkit you can actually use, and then wrap it all up by talking about why this matters so much. So let's start with a scene that I think we've all been a part of, the ivory tower. You know, trying to figure out these complex issues from the comfort of a conference room, maybe miles away from where the actual work is happening. Which really begs the question, where do great solutions actually come from? I mean, really, do they come from a beautifully detailed report, a perfectly formatted spreadsheet, a high-stakes meeting with all the executives? Or is there a better, more honest source of truth that we're just overlooking? Let's challenge that a little. This slide just lays it out perfectly. On one side, you've got the conference room, a world built on assumptions, reports, and theories. And on the other side, you have the Gemba. This is where you find the real stuff, facts, direct observation, reality. And the huge gap between these two worlds, that's where problems live and grow. Okay, let's make this really tangible. Here's a real-world example from a company called Acme. They had this critical document translation process that was just a total disaster. We're talking cost overruns, constant delays, and really critical errors. From the outside looking at the reports, it was just this black box of failure. So what is the antidote to this whole ivory tower way of thinking? Well, it's a simple but truly profound principle that gets right to the heart of the issue. So it all starts with understanding the Gemba. It's a Japanese term that literally means the actual place. But I want you to think of it as the place where value is actually created. It could be the factory floor, sure, but it could also be the development lab where code is written or the phone call with a customer. It's not the meeting room, it's where the work gets done. And that brings us to the core of it all, Genchi Genbutsu. This translates to go and see. And listen, this isn't just a friendly suggestion, it's practically a command. It means you physically go to the Gemba to see, with your own two eyes, what is really going on. It's all about trading in your assumptions for cold, hard facts. And this isn't just a vague idea. There's a real framework. Look at these 5 golden rules. Notice the first and most important one. When a problem pops up, your first move isn't to call a meeting. It isn't to open a spreadsheet. Your first move is to go to the Gemba. And from there, you observe, you contain the problem, you find the real root cause, and then you standardize a solution. It's a simple, incredibly powerful loop. Okay, theory is one thing, but let's see how this actually plays out in the real world. I've got a couple of stories here that show the incredible impact of just going to see. So let's circle back to Acme and that messy, failing translation process. A manager, Porter, decided to ditch the reports and the angry emails, and he went to the Gemba. He wanted to see the process from start to finish for himself. And here is what he found. Something that was totally invisible from his desk. No single person in the entire company actually knew how the whole process worked. It was just this fragmented mess, with each department doing its own little piece. That was the root of the problem, and he only found it by going to the Gemba. Now for a classic, legendary story from the birthplace of Lean, Toyota. Back in 1969, an engineer named Shigeo Shingo was just watching a massive 1,000-ton press, and he noticed something. The time it took to change the setup was 4 hours. Just think about that. 4 hours of dead time, 4 hours of lost value. That one simple observation, just standing there and watching, sparked the creation of the entire S-Med system, single-minute exchange of die. This system took that 4-hour changeover time and slashed it to just minutes. It literally revolutionized modern manufacturing, all because one person took the time to go and see. Okay, so how can you actually put this into practice? Because it's not just for giant factories in the 1960s. Let's break down how to do your very own Gemba walk. Here's your toolkit. And number one, most important, is an open mind. Bring a notebook, not a laptop because that creates a barrier, to write down what you actually see and hear. And crucially, bring respect. Your goal is to learn from the people doing the work, not to find fault in them. You're focusing on the process, not the people. You're there to understand, not to blame.
And this is so critical. I'm going to say it again. Your only mission on a Gemba walk is to understand reality. You are not there to judge, you're not there to correct, you are not there to place blame. Just see, listen, and understand. The solutions, they'll come later, I promise.
Okay, let's bring this all home and talk about the real-world impact this can have, especially right now in the modern workplace. Take a look at this number. A study from the Kaizen Institute found that white-collar workers, people like you and me, spend between 27 and 38% of their time on muda, which is the Japanese word for waste. I mean, that's a huge chunk of our workday, almost a third, just spent on stuff that adds zero value. That waste is hidden in our digital workflows, and it's a massive opportunity. And Genchi Genbutsu? Well, that's the key to unlocking all of that potential. You just can't fix what you can't see. By going to the Gemba, whether that's a digital workspace, a customer service interaction, or an office process, you make all that hidden waste visible. And that is the absolute first step to eliminating it, boosting team morale, and creating a real culture of continuous improvement. So, I'll leave you with this question. What's the 4-hour changeover in your workplace? What crucial, game-changing fact is hiding right there in plain sight, just waiting for you to get up and go and see? If you got some value from this explainer and you want to keep learning, please make sure to subscribe to the Kaizen Academy. We've got a lot more deep dives coming to help you transform your work. Thanks so much for joining me.